even though it wasn't in my budget, I'm happy about it. When I found that out, I was just like, girl, I can't root for you anymore.
Wow. Like, I think this will actually be my biggest disappointment of the year. Hello. Welcome to Roussel Reads. I'm Deja, and we are back again with another reading vlog. I am picking up right back off where I left the other reading vlog because I need to start this bi-weekly reading vlog because I'm actually a little bit behind. Where we left off on the last vlog, I was currently in the middle of two books. The first one is The Record Keeper, which is a dystopian sci-fi, and the next one is a thriller by Shanora Williams called Whispers of the Lake. I'm pretty sure I will be able to finish at least one of them. The Record Keeper, I'm not exactly sure if I'll be able to finish that one. We'll see, because that one is just a very like slow dystopia, and it's very character driven, which I usually love, but like I don't know. There's just something like my enjoyment of it is just ebbing and flowing. So we'll see if I manage to finish that one. But I am also in the mood for like three different things right now. I feel like I'm in a paranormal mood, which I think that No Gods, No Monsters will satisfy a little bit. But I also just kind of want some like paranormal romance. And I have quite a few books that could satisfy this little itch that I have for paranormal romance, but I'm not sure what or if I will pick up any of those. I feel like I'm also in the mood for just some contemporary romance. I just feel like I'm in the mood for romance. And now I'm not going to try fantasy romance because I still need a little bit of a break from it, but like I'm thinking that the paranormal romance could hit the spot, or I have a few historical romances that I want to try, but I also have a few romance arcs that are just straight contemporary that I could also try. And then the third mood that I'm in the mood of is not romance, not paranormal. Like, I just kind of want horror right now. Like, I don't know why I'm not a horror reader, I would say, but like, I don't know. Something about it is just calling to me. Maybe it's just like the gothic horror elements that like you can kind of feel in paranormal romance sometimes. That's not cozy, but I don't know. I feel like I'm in the mood for like some gothic horror or just horror. All of that to say, I don't know what books are going to be on this vlog. Like I really don't know. Like my mood could take me any and everywhere. And I've even been thinking about doing a reread at some point. So I'm not sure what is going to be in this video. But also these next few weeks are going to be a little bit hectic for me. I have a very busy week coming ahead at work. And I also have a little mini trip planned for the following week. So I don't know how much reading is actually going to be done, but I figured I would start this video because I do want to do some reading before I join some writing sprints with a writing friend. So let's go ahead and get this video started. I just finished with a writing session. My writing has been going very well these last few weeks. It took a little bit to get back into it just because I was on vacation and then I took a little bit of a break. And it was just hard going back into it after being away from the project for so long. But the scene that I wrote today, like I'm actually just really happy with it. I feel like one of the things that I'm not very good at is dialogue. I think that I write a lot of exposition, especially in early drafts, just because I am trying to like figure out the characters and just like their internal like motivations and stuff like that. So I kind of meander a lot, but I'm needing to write more dialogue scenes to build the chemistry between the two characters. And the scene that I just wrote, I'm not going to go too much in detail about it, but my female main character is an influencer. And so a lot of the things that she does, like when she's talking to people, she can usually like gauge their reactions, and she's just having a hard time doing that with my male main character because of reasons. And I just really enjoyed like trying to explore just the awkwardness that she feels with like trying to basically put on a performance for this guy, but because she can't, like it's just awkward for her. And yeah, I just really liked writing that scene, and I cannot wait to continue doing that. But I have to work. So I really came on here to give a quick update about my reading. So I did actually start two new books, and I read a little bit more of The Record Keeper. So let me talk about The Record Keeper first, because I am currently like 350 pages into this, and I almost actually DNF'd this about 50 pages ago. I know I mentioned in the beginning that like my enjoyment of this book is really like ebbing and flowing, and I think I figured out why. With a typical dystopia, there's certain plot beats and like characters that you usually have in this kind of story, and I think that this story has it, but the pacing of those beats that are happening is just a little off for me. In the beginning of the story, we're following Erica, who is a record keeper who is trying to become the next senator just to have a little bit more power. We also get a little bit of information that she was pretty much abused growing up, because they are basically trained to become the record keeper as soon as they are born. And so she has been abused pretty much her entire life for not following the rules early on. And so now she's really just like stuck in this like, not cycle, but just this mindset that she has to do whatever the teachers are like saying to her. She has to follow all the rules and all of that. And so I thought that that would be interesting in the beginning, because we would have to see her unlearn a lot of the things that she did learn. And I still think that she's a strong character. I still think that she has that like motivation. But the problem is, I feel like it took a little bit too long for her to start to unlearn this stuff. And like it's not that she's ignorant to a lot of the things going on now. Like 350 pages in, like she pretty much has gotten like the awakening that she needed, that a lot of these dystopias really have the characters go through, to say that, oh, this isn't really a utopia, it is really not going well for people. But she is still really stuck in this mindset of, oh, I have to do this for these teachers and all of this. And it's just getting like, it's just too slow for me in terms of her unlearning that stuff. And we're about like 100 pages from the end. And I'm just, I don't know, we're about to have like some training scenes, and I don't like training scenes really much at all. And I'm not sure where this story is going to go. Like, I really like the character of Hosea, which is the only reason why I'm pretty much continuing, because I really just like him. He is considered mixed race in this world. He is clay skin, which I'm thinking is more Asian coded, English, which are white coded, and Congo, which are black coded people. So I really like his character. I feel like he has a lot of depth to him that I don't see in a lot of other side characters. I also feel like there's just like a little bit of a slow burn romance happening with them. Not like very on the nose, but like there's just like little things where like he's teasing her and she's like flushing. But because the story doesn't really like focus on that, like it's really like his character that I like. Like he is a peaceful person. He really loves studying like the practice of medicine, but he's also trained to like use swords and stuff. So he is the most interesting character in this book. I really did like Erica at the start, but Hosea is becoming my new favorite. So yeah, I'm going to continue this. I feel like I could finish this in the next few days, but we'll see, because like I said, like my enjoyment is ebbing and flowing with this. So picking it up has been a struggle, but I'm still going to finish it, I think. And I know that I mentioned that I was in the mood for a lot more paranormal books, but I did not end up picking up another paranormal book. I actually picked up The Canopy Keepers by Veronica G. Henry. This is one that I picked up because I actually have the arc of the second one, which already came out, but I didn't realize that it was a sequel to this first book. So I'm currently reading the first book. And I've only read 15 pages of this, but the first chapter or so was very interesting. It takes place when this main character, Syra, she is a child and she's in the woods, like camping with her parents. And basically, there's an accident that harms her brother, and there's wildfires happening. And yeah, I'm very intrigued because of the way that the part after the first chapter happens. Like, I feel like her brother is going to be a villain. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see like where the story goes. I also picked up the Divorcetante. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I believe they combined divorcee with debutante, and I also just read the prologue of this one, and I am enjoying my time with it so far. I thought that it started off very like intriguing. It basically was just saying like how she met her husband, and from those little scenes like I could definitely get like rich black people vibes from it, just because there's like a program that reminds me of the US version of Jack and Jill, which a lot of rich black people participate in. And then there's just debutante culture is part of it. Like just little things like that. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely like rich black people vibes. And then of course we get to the reason why she gets a divorce, which is her husband was cheating on her. So yeah, I'm not gonna say how she finds that out, but that was wild. And so the first chapter, I have not read it yet, but I'm pretty sure that takes place years later when she's like trying to get a divorce. So yeah, I'm intrigued so far with both of the books that I have started. I'm not sure which I'm going to finish first, but yeah, I'm having a good time. But like I said, I just wanted to update before I go to work, and so I will check in later.
So it has been a few days since I last updated, and I have quite a bit to update you on. I finished, and I think DNF 2 books, and I started 2 other books in addition to a little haul that I have. So let's just go ahead and get into this update. I'm going to start with the haul that I have. So the author of Love Be Damned also did a pre-order giveaway. So those that pre-ordered, she entered them into a giveaway. So I have even more goodies from this universe that the author created. So I have this box, and I'm not going to hold up this box the entire time, but I'm just going to be like pulling stuff out as I get to them. The first thing that I see in this box is a tiny violin. I have never seen this before, so yeah, I don't know what I'll do with this. I might give it to like my niece or something to play with if it's allowed for toddlers. Nope, it's not. It says ages 7 and up. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I am not usually a person that does like little trinkets and stuff because I don't like clutter. And I live with a person that already likes to collect little trinkets and stuff. So me collecting things like this, not really like my thing. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just have it on my bookshelf or something. But yeah, that's the first item. Okay, so the next thing I see is this fan. This is a pretty nice fan. Oh wait, this is how people do it. I think they go like, "Ow, yes, that's how you do it." Okay, it looks like it has like a pretty design. And this is actually one thing that I would use because I actually bought a fan when I was on vacation, and I could use more because the heat is going to be coming soon in the summer, and I just need something like this to just carry around. And then it looks like we have a mirror. It's something that I could see myself using, but we'll see after like a few months if I actually use it. But I like the design around it. It's a plain black mirror, and I'm usually like a very simple like neutral colors kind of person too. So yeah, this is one thing I could see myself keeping. And then it looks like we have a sewing kit, which is another thing that I could see very useful. I have a smaller version of a sewing kit, but I think that this is something that I'm not going to get rid of because it is something that I find useful. And I think that's another thing for me when it comes to like pre-order like goodies and stuff. Like, if I don't find like a use for it, then I'm not really going to want it. And especially for like debut authors, like I'm not one to just want like character art for the sake of character art or any of that. Like I want to have character art of characters that I actually care about and like a couple that I actually care about if it's a romance, but most of the time I don't. So I really only have like very few character art that I actually display on my bookshelf. I'm curious to know what you guys think of like all of these like pre-order goodies and even book boxes, I guess. I don't really subscribe to book boxes because one, a lot of it is just like special editions of books that I'm probably never going to read. And two, like I said, like the trinkets, I don't really care to have any of that stuff. And so yeah, and I know there's some that like you only get the book, but again, those are just like books that I either didn't like or that I'm just not interested in. So it doesn't make sense for me to pay for a book that I don't want. So I'm very curious to know what you guys like think of that as well. And then it looks like I have some glasses. I don't think I would ever wear these outside the house because yeah, they are devil. They have devil hearts, and I would never, ever get away with wearing these in front of my mom. So, yeah, I mean, they're cute. I like them. If they didn't have like the horns, like I could see myself wearing them. Maybe I could actually like, I would probably damage them if I just cut off the horns, but everything that I'm looking at right now is red, which yeah, this could be distracting, but yeah, I think they're kind of cute though. I just probably couldn't ever wear these anywhere. And let's see what else is in here. I think it's just the book left. Yeah, it was just a book left. So we have the hardcover. And now that I have two copies of this book, I'm probably going to give one away. Oh, and it has a sticker that says signed by the author. And since this one, it is specifically addressed to me, I think that I will probably get rid of the paperback. But now I got to figure out what to do with the paperback. Like, I could just go donate it, but I kind of want to give it to a black teen that I know, but I'm realizing I don't know any black teenagers. Nobody in my family is old enough to have black teenagers right now, or they're older than black teenagers. So I don't know. We'll see like what I do with it. Oh, there also looks to be a note. Let me open it really quick to see if it says anything. It is not a note. It is actually, I think, more art. So, okay, so we have the same character card that I got from the pre-order. So that is nice. Oh, and there is a note. I was mistaken. And it's just thank you for supporting my debut. I really appreciate you taking the time to buy my book, and I really hope you enjoy your goodies. Signed, the author. What else is in here? Oh, and then it looks like, again, I have the stickers, the character, cute little character, um, couple thing. I still don't know what this is. Is this a sticker? I don't know. And then we still have the kiss tattoos. Oh, and it looks like I got two bookmarks this time. So I'm not sure what the difference is between them, but this looks like the one that I got the first time. It has the QR code that goes to somewhere, and then the Whitney Houston quote on the back. And then it looks like the second bookmark is something the real Midsummer Night's Dream was the first was the friends we made along the way. Is that a William Shakespeare quote? It looks like that's William Shakespeare. I'm not sure, but it says chapter 23, so maybe that has to do with something in chapter 23. So I don't know. But yes, that was the first book that I hauled. I'm happy that I won. I feel like I usually don't win anything. And I think a lot of the things like I will actually use. So that is exciting. But yeah, now I gotta figure out what to do with the paperback that I have. Really hoping that I like this, but hopefully soon I will get to it. I don't know. We'll see. The second book that I got, I actually bought on Pango, which I'm very happy to have. This is like one of my most anticipated books for. Oh, wow. There was actually a lot of things in this one. I think they actually gave me, okay, hold on just a second. So it actually looks like they gave me like some little like things. Like I think these are like stickers and stuff. So one says I work to support my reading addiction. This one looks like just a book with like flowers. This is just a note from the Pango Books person that just says thank you for purchase and hope that you enjoy it. I have another little sticker thing and another sticker. And then we have like this like bedazzled, is this an owl maybe with a pineapple? I don't know. Maybe an owl with a pineapple or something. So I think this is a magnet, maybe. So that's interesting. I don't think any of this actually came with the book. Maybe it's just like bookish goodies that they have. Um, because this doesn't actually make sense why it would go with the book that I have. And then it looks like I just have a bookish pen and a bookmark, I think. Or it looks like one of those like old library like things, checkout things. So yeah, but it's not that. Yeah, I don't know. Just like a rating card, I guess. But now we get to the actual book that I'm super excited for. And this book is thick. Wow. Okay, so I got A Song of Legends Lost. I was influenced to buy this. I was going to read it regardless, but usually I do not buy books before I read them. But this is the Illumicrate edition, and I just found it like really nice. Granted, this person looks very ambiguous in terms of who they are, but still a person of color. But I really like this like thing in the back, this warrior that's in the background. So I'm very curious with that. And I will say, to give myself some credit, that I did actually read the sample on Amazon before I decided to purchase it, and I did like the sample. So I was like, I think I'm okay with having the special edition of this one. And I'm just really excited. Like, there's just not enough epic fantasy that I think we're getting by Black authors. So, yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm actually going to open this because I want to see everything. And the crazy thing is, so many people were selling this on Pango for like 30-ish bucks. And I know it cost them way more than that to actually like buy that. So, yeah, I mean, we already know like why they have put up these books for sale without ever even like opening them. So I don't have to go into that little mini rant, but I am happy to have a copy without having to subscribe. So there's that benefit. But it looks like, oh my gosh, I'm already in love. Like, look at this. Oh my gosh. I love this so much. I am so curious what this being is. Oh my gosh. Do I really have to wait till August to read this with the book club? Can I like read it now? Oh my gosh. I love it already. I don't think I've loved the book just by how it looks. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is the back end papers. I don't think I've ever gotten an Illumicrate edition before, but this could be addicting. And then look at this, and then we have just the back. Wow. And then of course like the end papers. I think it actually goes with the, yeah, I think it actually goes with the actual like dust jacket. Oh my gosh. I am in love with this artwork though. Oh my gosh. I am so excited to read this. I almost want to drop everything right now and just start this because oh my gosh. I think in the back end papers you could tell that she's actually black a little bit better just because of the hairstyle. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Wow. I'm happy I bought that. Even though it wasn't in my budget, I'm happy about it. Okay, but that was my little haul. But now I want to talk about what I've been reading. So I actually finished Whispers of the Lake about a week ago, and I am giving it around 3 stars. So this wasn't my favorite Shanora Williams book that I've read. I think it started off like typical of what you get from a Shanora Williams. Some drama happens, and yeah, it's just typical of what you get from a Shanora Williams book. And I will say that for this book, I think it does exactly what Shanora Williams does. She has these plot convenient endings that drive me crazy sometimes, but because they're like just quick popcorn thriller reads, like I'm usually like, okay, like it's whatever, it's just like wrapping up. But the problem that I had with this one is just that I don't think that it was just like a quick popcorn thriller read. It felt way more like mystery, so it was more like slow to like build up. Like the middle was just such a slog to get through. And even though this book is less than 300 pages, I took so long reading this because it just wasn't keeping me engaged. And yes, there's like a lot of unlikable characters in this book, and there's a lot of heavy topics that are dealt with in this one in terms of abuse, cheating, and sexual assault, and a lot of things that, like, because they're just like so quick popcorn thriller reads, like, I don't think that they're usually like dealt with very well in terms of the things that they need to do. And then there was just like some things with like the main character, Rose, like her best friend, I had some problems with her. And one thing that I'm realizing that I don't really like about Shanora Williams' books, like when she does like journal entries, I do not like how she does them. I think because she just reveals things in the journal that like we wouldn't be able to get from that character or the plot any other way. Like it just feels too plot convenient when like you have a journal entry, but then we're not introduced to like a key piece of information that will tell you who the person is until later in the book. And I don't like that. Like that's literally what this book did, and I just was immediately annoyed. Like literally at the 70% mark, we are introduced to a new character through a journal entry, and immediately you know that is the villain. And I was so annoyed. I was just like, seriously, this slow build up, and there's not even like a little twist or anything. It was just not satisfying for me, especially after that much of a slow build. Like, I just was not interested. I don't know. It was fine, but I am disappointed. I don't think that it was her strongest work. And honestly, maybe that's because she was trying to put out like way too many books this year. There are two other books that I know released by her. I think actually Beautiful Broken Love was probably published last year. But that's like three books within like a certain time frame, and that's a lot. And maybe she writes quickly or something, but I think that this one just needed way more development. And I just it could have been good, but that beginning, like the middle part, was just so slow, and I just was just not interested in it. I would say maybe still try it out, but I wouldn't say that those are trying to be introduced to Shanora Williams thrillers, like to start with this one, just because I don't think that it was her strongest. I did really like oh my gosh, The Bitter Truth. I really like that one. Although that one also has like some heavy content warnings, and it also has a very plot convenient ending. But I did feel myself way more engaged with that one throughout the entire book as opposed to things just really like rushing and popping off at the end. So yeah, I don't know. Still try it out, I guess, but not a favorite. I also started reading the Divorcetante, and I actually DNF'd this one. The thing with this book that I just could not get into was the characters. I did not really like the characters. I didn't really like how they were written. Like Ebony, I did like her at first, and I'm really all for like women trying to basically reinvent their life after like something like happens. Like I really like seeing that, especially from older characters. But this character, as soon as her and the male love interest have their first conversation, I was immediately annoyed because we actually find out, which actually I'm gonna put like a timestamp for like the end of the spoiler if you actually want to read this, but like we find out that they actually had like a relationship kind of thing in the end. Like they were friends and then they crossed the boundaries and they just never really like talked about it again. But also a few years prior to where we are in the prologue, the male love interest actually tells her that her husband was cheating on her, and she just basically gets angry at him and says, "Don't talk to me again." And so, until she is caught on live camera that her husband cheated on her, that's when she decides to leave him. But she's still pissed at the male love interest of this book for telling her that And I'm just like, girl, what? You're mad at your friend telling you that your husband is cheating on you, and he saw it with his own eyes. When I found that out, that he told her, and then she got mad at him, and she never really apologized for like saying that or anything to him, I was just like, girl, I can't root for you anymore. And then I didn't really like feel their chemistry as well. And this is a super short book as well, so there was a lot of things like happening in this like little bit. I feel like there was a lot of things going on with like the friendships. From like the little bit that I read, like they both have like their own like friend groups, and there was just like very like prolonged scenes with like the friends, but I'm just like, you don't really only have less than 300 pages to really build this romance. Like, can we like not spend so much time with like the friends? Like, I get having a supportive friend group, but if that was the case and like wanting to like put all of that information in, we needed a longer book. So I don't know, just all these like things, like they weren't bad, but because I knew that I could not root for this relationship, I'm just like, I'm not going to finish this. I also ended up DNFing the record keeper with only 100 pages left. And I'm actually very sad about this, but like I said, I think in the clip before, like my enjoyment was like ebbing and flowing with this one, and I really lost interest. Like they are doing more of like a training scene right now, and I don't like training scenes. Like I hate reading them, and I don't know how long this training scene is going to be, but I was just like, I'm going to tap out now. And I kind of skipped towards the end where I was like, okay, what's kind of going to happen in the direction that it went. I was just like, seriously, you're making this one character put in this position. I was like, I don't even want to know how that happens. Like I really don't care. And I feel like this book feels more like a prequel and setup for like what is supposed to happen in the second book. And I'm just not a fan. Like I wanted more to happen in this book. And things do happen, but it is more character driven, more character focused in terms of like helping her to unlearn and on what is like I guess unlearn her abuse or something, like just like heal herself and like find out like the truth. But like usually I feel like that happens in like the first act of a dystopian novel, and this one it was like the entire book. So it's very slow, and I was curious to see like where the second book could go because it does seem like more of it's going to pop off in the second book, but like I'm just not connected to it anymore. I haven't seen anything else by this author. Like this book was published in 2018, so I don't even know if the author is still writing, which is kind of disappointing because I think that the author is a good writer, but I just, yeah, I couldn't with this book. So I'm not trying to put myself in a reading slump trying to finish books that I'm not enjoying anymore. I did end up starting two new books. The first one is The Canopy Keepers. This one, I am 116 pages into it now, and I'm enjoying it. It's very interesting because in the prologue, I think, like we see this young girl and her brother basically are like trapped in a fire. Her brother disappears, but she ends up getting out safely. And from the back summary, like we already know that this is Syra and this is her brother that has disappeared. Her parents end up dying in that fire. I feel like everything that I've read up until this point has basically been covered in the back summary. I mean, not everything, but like it is more of a kind of backstory, maybe just like setting up like where the brother went and how he came to basically want to kill humans for destroying the Sequoia National Park, which is not a spoiler because you actually get that from the back summary. And then you also see Syra trying to be the fire chief and all of that. And there's just a lot of backstory that's setting us up to like the main story. I did get to the part last night where Syra actually meets the Canopy Keepers. And so I am a little bit more invested now, but I did not think that we needed almost 100 pages of us basically getting so much backstory when really like the synopsis really tells us like almost everything that happens. Like we know that we're going to have Syra meet these new people. We did not need 100 pages for that. So yeah, that's my only complaint so far. I think that the author's writing is good. It's kind of told in like different timelines. Like at the beginning of every chapter, it tells you like what month and year that we're in. And there is like a part from the mother, I guess, and I'm feeling like that's like the tree, or like because Sequoia National Park, if you don't know, like they're just these huge trees, and so there is like a huge tree that's like the mother of all of the other trees, and I feel like that tree is kind of like speaking somehow. Like I'm not exactly sure how it works, but like there is like a mother that's just like Syra is going to like help us and all of this or whatever. So now that things are actually popping off, like we'll see where the story goes. It's only like 350 pages, I think. So yeah. I also started Blood Slaves, which comes out in July, and I really love the author's note of this one. I am only like 18% into this book, I think, so far. And the author's note was, it was just feeding my soul. Like when you just feel like so much rage, like I feel like he really encapsulated that. And so I was very excited, like going into this book, just because it is Black vampires basically getting vengeance when Black people were enslaved. And we actually get like a little bit of a prologue, a little bit like when the Black vampire in this book was basically told to like go into hiding because there's this plague that's in the human's blood that is just like killing them. So he's actually the only vampire left. And so now we are on this plantation owned by Big Jim, and we have met a few characters. And so far after that like prologue like section, we haven't really had a lot of vampire stuff happening. Like there was like one scene I think so far where one of the human characters meets the only surviving vampire left, and that's when they like figure out that yeah, he is like drinking blood and all of that. But other than that, like I feel like it is very much like setting the scene of living on a plantation and what's at stake for all of these Black characters that are enslaved. And so I wish that we could get more to the vampire action soon, because it is hard really reading like those scenes. And I actually started this on Juneteenth. So I was just all up in my feels like reading this. It was very hard to read a lot of the scenes that were happening. I'm anticipating when the Vengeance comes back in, but so far it's just been like I'm reading a historical novel, which is hard. So I am enjoying it kind of so far, but yeah, I want more of the vampire stuff to come in sooner rather than later. But that was a very long update. I really, really just wanted to update because I was gone a few days. I didn't really film anything. I was going to, but I just wanted to enjoy my time with family that I was spending time with. So, yeah, I think we're all caught up now. I think so. So, reading Blood Slaves and the Canopy Keepers. I might start a new book, but I think we're all caught up. So, I will check in with you in the next update.
It is time to wrap up this video. I haven't really been like updating, and I don't really have much updates for the ending of this video. I finally unhauled all of the books that I talked about in my unhaul video, which I will link above. Super excited about that because it's been a long time coming since I've unhauled some books, so I was finally able to donate them to the library. I also ended up making some candles, which I've been really loving. I really like relaxing with candles, and I haven't really been wanting to buy any because I've bought candle making equipment like 2 years ago and I never used it. And so it was actually fairly simple. So I'm pretty sure I will probably be making my candles going forward. I need to find more like scents that I like. I want to use more natural things just because trying to be more eco and sustainable and like my choices. So if you know any, definitely let me know. In terms of the reading, I feel like I haven't really been doing much reading. I think this last week, especially, I've been doing more writing because I've been more on a deadline. I'm actually super proud of myself because I had 5 days to basically write 11,000 words and I did it. The more that I'm in this project that I'm working on, the more I'm just happy to be working on it. I won't talk too much in depth about it here, but if you are interested, I will link my newsletter for that pen name down below. And I have been starting to share more like snippets and stuff there. So yeah, I'm very happy with the progress that I made so far in that project and just excited to keep working on it. It's been a very slow journey, but like I'm just very proud of myself for like what I've accomplished so far. Now, in terms of reading, I actually DNF'd another book. I feel like this entire vlog, like I've DNF'd everything. And there's only one book that I haven't DNF'd, but I swear I have thought about DNFing it. So let's actually talk about the book that I didn't DNF yet. That book is The Canopy Keepers. Multiple times in the last 100 or so pages that I was reading this, I was telling myself I should probably just DNF this. And it's not because it's bad. Like, I really do think that the ecosystem that the author is creating in this is really based on like the fauna that you would see in the Sequoia National Park. And I do think that like the magic and just what this author has created is like really cool. Like I'm really loving just like the level of detail that I can tell that this author spent in terms of like researching just like firefighter practices, why they even do the burnings, and also just even like historical, like cultural things, like saying the Native Americans knew that they needed to do this, and even like some African Americans knew that they needed to do this. And I feel like it's woven into this so well. And it's even like, I want to say this is like climate fiction because the whole point that like her brother has is that like humans are destroying the earth and that is like the major problem, and her brother is just like we can't stand for this, so he wants to annihilate all the humans. And that's not a spoiler because you pretty much know that in the back of the book, but yeah, I think it has very strong elements. The problem that I'm having with this book is that it's just so slow. Oh my gosh. The place that I'm at, I think I'm like 100 or so pages from like the end, maybe even a little bit over. But I feel like she's just now starting to like put up like a resistance, and her body is also like changing in response to this new world that she has discovered. So like I find the world very interesting. I just wish the pacing was a little bit better. And I'm wondering how it will be in the second book because I'm thinking that this is not going to leave off in a way that I'm satisfied, so that I probably will read the second one. I don't know. I'm intrigued, but yeah, there's multiple times that I probably would have DNF'd this. Now, the book that I did actually DNF is Blood Slaves by Markus Redmond. I am disappointed by this. Like, I am very disappointed. In the beginning, I said that there were definitely a lot of hard scenes to read, and I DNF'd this book about 45% into it. And I don't think that those hard scenes ever really go away. I mean, you're showing like the reality and the brutality of the American slave system. So, like, it's going to be like rough to read. My problem with this is that it feels like it's there for like shock value rather than like, I don't want to say like saying something, but like to have like a purpose. And I'm not a person that likes violence for the sake of violence when it comes to showing the brutality of history, especially because as a Black person, I know the history of slavery. I know it was terrible, and there's only so many times that, like, as a Black person, I want to consume that kind of media. And reading this book, it was tough, but I was willing to push through it because I was like, oh, the vampires, they're going to come in, they're going to get revenge. But again, we're 45% into this book, and yes, there's vampire elements, but it's not a big part of the book. And I think, honestly, part of my problem with this is that the structure of how the author wrote this novel is not working for me. I think part of the reason why this author is showing this brutality towards these characters, and also there's a lot of sexual assault, and there was actually one scene I took a picture, and I'll I might put that on the screen, but like, honestly, I don't want to subject anybody to that. So actually I won't put that on the screen, but like, oh my gosh, that was like such a cringy scene for me to read. And it was just like these scenes continually like happening in the book. And I also didn't like the way that the female main characters were really in this book either. Like, I just, oh my gosh, there was just so much that I just did not like about this. And I know I kind of went on a tangent, but when I was talking about like the structure, I think the author is probably trying to show these characters being brutalized and all of this so that we could see like on a page why they would want revenge. But like, my thing is, if you are a Black person and you're picking up this book, like, I don't think you really need to go into so much like depth about why they would want revenge. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a Black person. I'm picking this up for the vengeance aspects. And even in the author's note, like, he is a Black man and he was taking out his anger on multiple things that comes with being a Black man in America. And I'm just like, so we know that, so that I don't think that we needed to have so many scenes of Black people being battered, Black people being sexually assaulted. Like, I just don't understand why we had so many of those scenes. Like, and honestly, with the vampire aspect of this, like, I honestly don't even think it needed to be in this book. Like, granted, I think that it'll probably come up more in the second half of the book, but at this point, the vampire character isn't even really like the central character in this book. I feel like it really does focus on the other characters, and honestly, I just found the vampire way more interesting. Like, I loved his prologue. Like, he is selfish, like, he wants blood, like, literally, that's what he wants. And yeah, he's helping them get revenge, but like, I don't know. I just wish we got to the vengeance part a little bit faster than we actually did. And so, yeah, that was a long rant on why I DNF this book, but I'm highly disappointed, like, sorely disappointed by this book. And wow, like, I think this will actually be my biggest disappointment of the year, maybe. I don't know. There's actually a few that's battling it. So we'll see whatever I end up feeling, because I'm still like fresh off of like reading this book. But yeah, I will say, if you go into it knowing that there's less of the vampire elements and more of the historical slavery aspects, then you might enjoy this potentially, but it's not one that I would recommend, unfortunately. So yeah, that was my reading this week. A lot of DNFs, and one book that I'm having mixed feelings about. So I'm hoping that the next vlog will be better. But if you have enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments, maybe your most disappointing read of the year so far. And if you don't want to do that, you can also just leave a vampire emoji. And even though that book was a huge disappointment, I still love vampires. But I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!